Hey, how's it going? I was just talking away and not recording, so I'm gonna read you some cards. But first, look at my signs. For real this time. Because I was doing all of the steps, like a dress rehearsal, because I was not recording. So I'll start over. I was more gussied up, but it got too warm, so I put on a wife lover. Because I don't like to call them wife beaters. And so I pulled 4 cards, and the first card I pulled was from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. Oh, looks like this. Usually doesn't have duct tape on the bottom of it, but I'm a bit of a brute and I tore the package. It has the artist's name underneath there, unfortunately, but I'm sure you can Google it. So yeah, I pulled the crossing card, and the subtitle is whoa. Okay, so hold on a second. Sorry about that. I will get to you. Excitable card. So it's a number 9 card. 54 card, but 5 and 4 add up to 9. And 9 is right before completion. In reading cards, that is. Or it's before completion if you think 10 is the completion of everything. It's right before that. And the subtitle is Initiation. So what I had been saying was that all of those things add up to me that you have indeed gone through the initiation and you are crossing the bridge to like the next level or whatever, the other side. And it occurred to me that like that crossing to the other side thing, when you are learning anything, you start out one person who didn't know what you learned, and then you learn the stuff and you make the crossing as the initiate to whatever you just learned. And it's almost like that prior person that you were, like they passed. They're like deceased in a way, because that person is no longer in existence. You have changed, you've evolved, and you're just not that like you can't go back from this stuff, this spiritual evolution business. Like once you know something, you can't. I mean I guess you can, but I would think it's destructive, because you're forcing yourself into something that no longer fits, is no longer applicable. So yeah, the other side. But that's okay. I mean, you can always, we remember our loved ones that have passed, and so it's good to let go of the past, because hanging on to it, especially too tightly, can just be detrimental to our overall health. But you can revisit the past, best if you're like pretty healed from whatever it was, but you can always go back and unearth something that you're like, oh shoot, that is a thing now that makes sense or means something. I mean, it just depends. It's going to be unique to each individual. And the next card will be an angel number card from this here deck. And it's the 1, 2, 3, 4 card, and the subtitle is Good Luck, which is something that people wish you after you graduate. I will read the text there at the bottom, that paragraph. You're on the right track. Someone from the other side has your back and encourages you to try your best. You will succeed. Observe your surroundings and communicate clearly. Be sure that everything will fall to pieces. I think that's supposed to be will fall into place, but fall to pieces. Okay, I'm getting a weird feeling. So maybe it's right the way it is, but it just seems strange. It seems like it's like another one of those weird syntax things. It seems like it's trying to say, if not, things should fall into place, all of the pieces will fall into place. I think, but I don't think it's the writer's first language English, so things happen. But anyway, yeah, observe your surroundings and communicate clearly. Be sure that everything will fall to pieces or into place. The next card I pulled was the turtle card. And it has at the top there the upside down triangle, which is indicating the water element. And what I got from looking at this card first thing was that turtles live a really long time, and so they are, if we were gonna like sort of anthropomorphize them, but also like maybe it's also the case that something that has been around a long time kind of has seen it all and, you know, knows what can be expected from life and people, basically. I mean, you know, I don't know how much turtle to human communication goes on. This is always a metaphor, so, but you would think that even in animal world, like, they have been around a long time. They've managed to survive because they do have like predatory attackers, I think. Like, well, I guess it depends where they are, but I'm pretty sure that other animal people do try to eat them. So I feel like surviving that gives you like gives the turtle like the fear of death is gone because you've come so close that I don't know, like maybe you come so close you realize something made you realize it doesn't matter. Like, you're just close all the time anyway. Something about this is telling me that like the turtle energy needs to be for kids. Slow, patient, indulgent, understanding, like unfazed. I'm thinking younger than like what I was talking about with the crossing, like much younger, like, you know, like just starting school age kids maybe. But you know, little ones that are like naive and need like supervision in the world, like they need older, wiser people watching out for them, which hopefully little ones just have, because I mean they're naive and don't know stuff. They're not well acquainted with stranger danger or even acquaintance danger, unfortunately. So you want to instill in them these kinds of attitudes so that when they grow up, the stranger danger is like less or no thing at all. Like, just a new breed of people, basically, of treating each other like much better than we have been. Could take a long time. And then the last card I pulled was from the Kawaii Cat Tarot. Big glare right on it. And it's the Star card. So, I had looked up something about the energy of it. I hope the tab is still on here because I'll have a tab and then I'll accidentally close it all the time. So annoying. Why do I do that? Wow. Oh, it's here. Yay. The Star Tarot card. So yeah, this is a tarot card. The other ones are oracle cards. I guess I should have mentioned that. The Star Tarot card is a powerful symbol of hope, healing, and renewal, guiding us through various aspects of our lives, from love and relationships to career and finances. Its uplifting energy and inspiring message encourages us to trust in the universe's plan and embrace the opportunities that lie ahead. That's almost sounding like, okay, kid, you're kicked out of the nest. Go out in the world and make your own way. Make good decisions. Have that turtle energy. Can I just be honest and tell you the first thing I thought of when I pulled this up was turtling. Turtling. Sorry. Well, I don't know how sorry I am. I did make the decision to go ahead and say that. Turtling. Sorry. Now I am sorry. Let me just see if there's anything else of note here that I should look at. Or pay attention to. Potato attention. Get your head out of the sandy ground. Open your potato eyes and pay attention. Pay attention. Okay, that's what I already read. By understanding the intricate symbolism and meanings of the star card, which are what I already read, and you actually, I don't know, like I had looked that up, but to me that already kind of looks like, well, maybe not, maybe because I just know what the meaning is supposed to be, but it does look hopeful. Everybody's smiling. The sun, the cat. You know, none of these cats on these cards have rear legs. They're like chess pieces. It's kind of strange. But as on like the sort of more traditional tarot card, the person, usually a woman or kind of androgynous, but I think it's a woman, is standing at the shore of a body of water, like a really flat pond. Like the riblets are very, very minimal, and they got one foot on the shore and one foot in the water. So this poor thing don't have feet, but I guess you're just supposed to know that. Or maybe the water's connecting it, like when lightning strikes, or you get electrocuted, the electricity just goes wherever. Oh, this will conduct me. I'll just go here and travel until I run into rubber or whatever. But so I guess the water is like sort of attached in that way, just sort of everything bleeding through into the next substance. But it's also like, still thinking of the graduation and the hopefulness of like starting your new life, and the thing you're so excited for. I'm not gonna make the same mistake as that football player. What I think people would be most excited about upon graduating is being their own adult person. I'm not gonna. And I think that's a fair assessment, like, what'd you do all that work for, and that's just kind of like a universal person thing. You kind of can't wait to grow up and be your own adult person, like eat ice cream at any time of the day that you want, or, you know what I'm saying? Just sort of direct the course of your own life. And that's something you graduate to as well. Like, you learned it at home, you learn it at school, and if you go to a church situation or a worship situation, you learn it from like elders and mentors in those places. But wherever you grow up, I think those things are constant, because there's always someone, like if you have no family or anything and you're like a foster child orphan, a person to help guide you will come along and help you, like will cross your path, because especially if that's what you really want. You, in the situation that I described, like I would think the person would be pretty strong in their desire for a good foster parent or straight up adoption. So I lost my train of thought. But you have hope, though, as that person. And if they get the situation they look for and they have the parents, then the child/student then their life will further evolve, and they'll graduate the school situation. And then they'll have the supportive parents and their hope for your future. Like, they, decided to help a child without parents, or however many. There's horror stories about it, but they're not every situation is horrible and abusive. We support each other regardless, of whether we meet to or not. It's not always easy to see the ways that happens, but I mean, I guess that's maybe deliberate, like part of the mystery. They just need, like, we don't need to know kind of situation. Some things are not all need to know for everyone. That's okay. So, I was gonna say I'm done, but here, let me read at you something, because I know you love that. Of course, I don't know which way is up. Oh, okay, that's from yesterday. Oh, so yeah, I guess it's just my notes. The path of the initiate, the death before a new age of the new person and all that came before caused us to be. All that came before that caused us before. All that came before and caused us to be. Or something like that. Life. The life of who you were now firmly lodged in the past, just as we do each time we graduate. False dawn. New subject. Yeah, at 4 a.m. I was up, and it was I don't know how false it was. It was bright. The sun wasn't quite up yet, but you could tell it was coming. It just was not night anymore. It was pretty bright. Yeah, nothing false about it. It shifted stepping stones. False fall. Oh, the season. Yeah, it's like like that light at that time of morning seems completely off. Yeah, false dawn usually comes at about 4, but it's just like along the horizon and it's dim. This was like, this is sunlight coming in, but it was nowhere near this bright. I don't know how to explain it. I can just say that it was way too bright to be false dawn at that time of day. It was too bright. It was just too bright. It was too bright. Oh, and so yeah, like the seasons are all confused. Like, we're having false fall right now. Cottonwood trees, which I don't, if they have them in California, they weren't anywhere where I lived, but when they are going to seed, the seeds are like white fluff ball little things, and it's constantly like lately right now when it should not be happening. It's the wrong time of year, and like I'm not from here, so I was talking to the lady that works with me, and I said, "Is this early for these things?" Because they like land in my hair and just live there until I discover them. They're like, you can't feel them. And she's like, "Yeah, it is early, and but everything is like all kooky with the weather and the seasons." And I'm from Los Angeles originally, and it was too warm, too expensive. I don't know, like I guess like I would just get my feelings hurt too much down there, to be perfectly honest. So, among other reasons, those were ones that I left. But what is happening here? But yeah, it's way too flippin' hot down there to live. Here, when I moved here, well, first time I moved here was in 1988, and it was so much different than it is now weather-wise. And then I came back in 94, because I was only here that from 88 till like maybe a month or two into 89. Like I think I moved in the spring, and then like by the winter I was gone. Like fall I was out of there, so that was short-lived. But that was like a housing situation, and I hadn't had a chance to like meet anyone and like make friends and like couch surf. Like I didn't know anybody. I ended up having to turn around and go back to LA. I was not happy. So then I ended up back in 94. And it was still pretty, like, I'm in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, so West Coast in the north. And that used to be like rainy. It still is rainforest, although they are chipping away at that, cutting down timber. Have been since I first moved here in 88. I just think it's the most insanely dumb thing to do. But no one asks me, and if I speak up, people don't care. They're not listening. And who am I going to go talk to about this? No wonder they don't listen. I'm probably talking to the wrong person. But, it was beautiful here. And one of the things, like, I was so stressed out and anxiety ridden from living in LA. It took me like 5 years to sort of like let that go and relax, because it's just a completely different vibe here. But one of the best things about it was that it rained all the time, and the summer began on July 5th, because it just, good luck having a clear day on the 4th or Halloween. Like both like rain clouds, but over time, less and less so. It's like in the upper 70s today, when like 30 years ago it would have been pouring right now, or maybe there would have been like a dry few minutes, but mainly, and that makes me sad, because part of what made it so beautiful for me was just the green growing on everything everywhere. And it totally is like such a great air filter, and I'm sure it has other calming effects, because I just hate it when we lose it. And the place where I live, the owners have like a vendetta against it. They're like putting chemicals on it and scraping it and removing it, and it's like, it's in the air, dingwit. You can't. It's ugly when it's dying. No one wants to look at that. I don't know why they don't want it. I think it looks beautiful. They think it's like dirty or something. I think they're from out of town. I think they don't get it. But I've noticed that like real estate people, I mean, well, you know, the former president Trump was one, and if you look and you're open to seeing it, there's people that have some things to say about him that are not rosy and glowing. Robert Durst, real estate family guy, serial murderer, completely like a psycho, like psychotic, has no like feelings, and only cares about himself. Like people are tools, he's gone now, but there's more. There, I was reading. I mean, you can probably go back to forever and find them, but I was reading about like one day something about the Monopoly game's invention caught my eye, and I read it, and that was started because it's a game about, well, you know, it's about real estate, so it was to promote real estate and real estate people, like to sort of like Law and Order, to give them a good makeover. They're linked. I don't know. Watch John Oliver. I'm not going there. I want to be happy and hopeful. So, I guess that's it. I don't know. I guess it's like graduation stuff. Oh, let me read some keywords off of here. So, again, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 card. It says good luck. And keywords are spirit guides, progress, justice, structures, systems, processes, conditioning, and rules. Wow. So spirit guides around to protect and advise. The better you can hear them, the more useful or helpful they are, you know. But guides is the key word there. You know, they do help us along our path. They're there for the asking if we need help. If we veer off of our life path before we should, they'll do their best to see that we don't get hurt. I mean, if we're not supposed to like cross over, then they won't allow it to happen. They'll do what they need to do. Good grief. So, what was I just talking about? Like, elevating, taking steps, evolving, like learning a new thing. And each time you learn something new, you leave the person that didn't know behind. And, you know, you like kind of step out of that U-shaped chrysalis, this fresh new being with your new information on top of your other pre-existing information. Just creates a whole new entity. So yeah, I mean, that's making progress. All those up-leveling changes. Justice, well, in this context, I mean, you worked hard and you graduated well, and you know, you learned your lessons well, and you incorporate them into life, and you felt hopeful, like graduating, stepping out into the world, stepping off that cliff like the fool, trusting and believing because you just did everything you could to educate yourself, make yourself ready, live that life. Parents and teachers and extended family backed it all up. Like, you got to get out there. So it's up to you, but like I said, you did the work. You should be fine. Structures, systems, that's the school, the learning processes, like 3 different branches of the learning as far as I'm concerned. It kind of describes like living within that system with the structures. Like, it's showing you like your life, and then like you can like see your choices in the form of like you've enrolled in school, for example. So you that structure was there for that you to then go in and access the system of the education system, and the learning is a process. The getting in was a process, but every step along the way, like everything you do and see, and you could like take it all as something to be learned from, which is ideally, I think, what we're meant to do. Conditioning. Well, I mean, that's part of learning at school, but it's also like some of it you don't want after a certain age. Like maybe when you have that sort of old self death, what you're also leaving behind is some conditioning that it just doesn't serve you anymore. Like you don't need it on your like key ring because it could pop up unwanted, uninvited in a situation where it could just mess things up. So you've outgrown it basically. And deconditioning yourself, like unraveling things that you've learned that you don't need. You then will have to like put something in its place that is more advanced, perhaps, and that is just conditioning of another kind, like reconditioning. So, but I think that's just life. I think that's how it goes. Like, haven't you ever had that experience where you're like, okay, I have all of this information, and someone asks you something from like 20 years ago, and when it's happened to me, a lot of times I'll be like, I have no idea who you're talking about, what incident, because I think that I was just like, okay, put this in deep storage. I'm not using it. So it's not that the memory is not there, or even that you're damaged. It's just that you have made something less of a priority. And that is a problem when you haven't spoken to someone for like 30 years, because where do you start again? Do you talk about new stuff, or do you pick up where you left off? And I don't know. I still don't know the answer to that. And the last keywords are and rules. Well, you can't, I mean, I like to joke there's no rules. I like to joke that I don't like to follow rules, but that's not entirely true. I can be a little rebellious, but I understand the value and the necessity of rules. It's not me that's forgotten and, like, done lawless activities. What? Anyway, thank you and good night.